Hello and welcome to In Between the Pages with James Lott Jr. I'm James Lott Jr. And we're going in between the pages of another fascinating book. And I'm telling you, this book is, I keep saying timely because it's so, like literally, it's so timely. It came out late last year in October, but I had some stuff going on, as you guys know, at home. But I was like, I still want to talk to him. I read the book. I want to talk to him. I want to see what he's talking about. It's called Blindspot in America. We'll get to that in a second. But my guest came from Togo, West Africa. Apparently, on my DNA ancestry, I come from Togo on some level. They say I have some Benin and Togo in there. Yes. You look like somebody. You look like some of my people, though. You look like some of my people. He has a bachelor's degree in education, a master's degree in TESOL, which I know about that. It's a teacher of English of speaking speakers to other languages. It's really good. He's a founder of Learn and Care, a nonprofit organization that aims to promote literacy and adult education. Yes, not only among immigrants, but also among Native Americans who missed the opportunity to earn a high school diploma. We love that. His program also offers ESL, literacy, GED preparation classes, and more. I've had several families go through those kind of programs. We love it. He has self-published 2 ESL workbooks, Ideal Companion, ESL Level 1, Ideal Companion, ESL Level 2. He also, just because he does so much, he also teaches French. Okay, he's all fancy. In a high school, at ESL at a community college, and he lives in Omaha, Nebraska, kids. All right, where he lives with his family, and he's the author of this book. Elom Akoto. Elom, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, James.
How'd you land in Omaha, Nebraska? I gotta ask that first.
Sure. My wife had some friend here. We were living in Tennessee for about a year and a half, and friends told her to come check it out here. And we felt kind of alone in Knoxville, Tennessee, all by ourselves. So she wanted to check it out, and we came here. That was August 2014, and here we are since then. And she's loving it, and I will be wherever she is and wherever she want to stay. So that's where we're here.
Folks, we just had Valentine's Day. What he just said, of course, like the nicest thing you say about your partner. Oh, it's so nice, Elom. I'll give it to you. No, it's great. That's really that's good. But I mean, we were talking, from Togo, from Africa, coming to
Yeah.
America, which this book we talks about that also, which we'll talk about that in a second too. Um, did you use all of your experience kind of put into this story?
I would say my experience and experience of others. I would say I wanted to write a book where every single immigrant can find something that they can relate to. It's a story about all immigrants because everybody has a different experience in America. If you notice in the book, I talked about different people from Nepal, people from Yemen, people from Bosnia, and they all had their own experience. For some people, it was a experience of success. So for others, it's a struggle.
Yes, it is. Okay. Well, this book, there are so many themes in it that if we you could have wrote about just one theme and that would have been a book by itself. You could have wrote about another theme and a book by itself. I mean, we're talking immigration, we're talking racism, we're talking American versus non-American, we're talking politics, we're talking high ranking versus civilian, we're talking friendships, we're talking a murder, and in the middle of all that, and then the murder and an
Yeah.
accusation. I loved it. First of all, I loved your book. I think everybody should. It's 5 stars. Elam, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
But there's so many. And this came out of you. This all came out of you. Like
Yeah.
it's. So tell people at home the basic story, and then we'll go into more particulars.
Sure. Yeah. I can even start with how this started. I just woke up from I was sleeping at night and I just jumped out of bed because I was dreaming about a black guy getting arrested in a hotel room, uh, by for killing a white person. And when I jump out of bed, I was so happy that it wasn't me because I was still in my room. That's how it started. And then, it started evolving in my head. And before I knew it, it came into a whole plot. And I started putting it on paper. And 2 years later, it took a form of a whole manuscript. Then when it started, I thought about this young Ghanaian guy. I wanted to show a picture of Africa that people don't necessarily see all the time. People from Africa give this image, or people see in them this image of poor people, family that are struggling. This young guy, he came from a high, well-performing family. His dad was a government official. His mom, very wealthy retailer. So those people are not poor, very well educated. So the journey of that young man all the way to America was a journey of hope and dream. And then the reality was a little bit different for him. So I wanted to show that both the image, the other side of Africa that people don't necessarily see, and how the dream that immigrants have in America ties into the reality for being when you are here. Because what you see from outside is not always what is real when you get in. So.
I have so many friends from, like Nigeria, friends from other parts of West Africa, like Senegal and stuff, where there's these beautiful big cities, just like LA or New York, right?
Mhm.
With communities and
Mhm.
and jobs and work. And you're right, they don't show that side of Africa to
Yeah.
us. Why? Well, on the side, I would get so political, but you did write a political book. Why do you think that? On the side, why do you think that is?
Um, First of all, it's a propaganda. So we have now to show our own side of the story. Like people say all the time, we cannot let the story be told on the side of the person that is considered the strongest or the hunter. We have to also try to tell the story on the side of the game or the target. So that's what I am trying to do because Africa is, like you said yourself, not all about kids being poor, being
Right.
malnourished,
Yeah.
needed help. Yeah, there are places like that. But I've seen places in America that are not that different. I've seen both sides of the United States. I live in Tennessee. I taught in a very rural white area, and I was shocked about things that I saw that I would never have thought, I would never have thought that would be in America. So yes, that's a kind of propaganda to, ask people for help, and it has to do with a lot of things, politics and all of that. But I can tell you right now, things are changing in Africa, but I won't get into that.
Yeah, that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show. Yes, but I know it's changing. I know it's changing. Actually, I want to make sure I get the name. Is it Kamal? What's the game character?
You got it right the first time.
Perfect,
Yeah.
Kamal. So what I liked about it is because he comes from, like you said, he comes from a prominent Ghanaian and academic kind of minister of health. He comes from some privilege,
Yes.
right? But then he comes
Correct.
to America.
Hmm.
We're treated very differently, and he's being treated differently because of this murder and all this stuff. I loved that. I loved how you did that, and so
Hmm.
was that kind of like you said, you thought of a black man in a hotel get arrested, but like was that the important part to show the differences?
Yes. So I wanted to. This is there's something that I kind of missed when I was talking about what the book is about. It's also about Black people's struggle in America in general. Because I experienced so many things that I cannot even start telling you about. Those are, I mean, you just sat, it gets to the point where you will sit down in your chair and you will think, do people really have in their heart this natural inclination to treat other human being like this? Because it's just, and it's all based on the color of my skin. So it happened to me many times. But I learned not to put everybody in the same basket, but to take it case by case, because I won't be here today talking to you with a published novel if it wasn't for some good white people.
Yeah.
So I try to take things case by case. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are happening.
I'll tell you because it's Black History Month. As we're recording this, folks, it's Black History Month.
Mhm.
I remember once having a talk with it was 7 black men,
Mhm.
including myself, and we're all different ages, different sizes, shapes, colors, and the sad part was, I mean, I say this, I'm smiling, but the sad part was all 7 of us have had at least 2 bad police experiences. At least 2. I've had more than that. but at least two.
Mhm.
And I'm older. I mean, I'll be 56 in a few months. So I've been around a long time. But from me to the ones who are in their 20s, we all could name at least two experiences that were bad for the police
Yeah.
that weren't our fault. Like literally weren't our fault. We were just
Yeah.
driving while blacks, as they say, or walking
I
while black, or
I
whatever.
believe you. I believe you totally. Yeah.
Because that's so great in America. That's what we have. Like you said, the struggle when we all have that shared experience. Yeah,
Mhm.
it bonds you together on some level. But like you think when you say you sit back and go, God, that's not good. That's not
Mhm.
good at all. That's crazy. And that's why I like about this about Kamal because he is question at one point he questions his like, why am I here? Why did I come
Mhm.
here? Like, why what like I thought America was the dream, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So he was questioning. So I like that he was questioning it for a while when he was going through that stuff.
Yeah, he was an easy target.
Yeah.
That's what it is. He was an easy target. Who else to put the blame on other than a black immigrant guy from Africa? So
That's crazy. And you did have so okay. So you have other immigrants too. So I did
yes.
like that. It was very multicultural.
Mhm.
She did on purpose, of course. Um, but there's something there, but there's intertwining friendship stuff that was like
Mhm.
happening too.
Mhm.
And like Lindsay, Dania, all of them, they have Lazo, Afumi, they all had their own stuff too, also. So
Mhm.
how did you this is because we're in between the pages. Did you map out each of their stories kind of separately to bring them together? How did you do that?
That's that's a very good question, James. Um, what happened to me is to start with, if you allow me, I did not start the whole thing. I did not put the plot and the detail in together intentionally. So once I had my main story, the backbone of my story. The rest, they were just like branches from a tree that I can clean up whenever I want to, that I can pick which one I want to use. So, for example, the story of Ayefumi, I just thought of him originally as another immigrant, and then he became an interesting character. Then I made him kind of this person that also has meaning to the reader. He's the one who was there always, for Kamau. And even the story about him trying to bring his wife and kid here, it wasn't in my head when I started writing him as a character. So that's what happens when you are writing, or when I'm writing something that becoming so interesting that I got into my story, like I become an observer in my book, trying to attribute roles to people. I think if you do this, that would be awesome. That would be interesting. That would add to the story. I think if I write this about you, that would bring, more spice to the sauce. So that's how it got in. So my main thing is the main plot, and then the beginning, the ending, and the middle part, it just grows on its own. And I just kind of water it like a plant to grow and find different touch to it. That's how that kind of evolved.
I like that. So it's a very immersive experience for you. You're like
Yeah.
you're in it. You're in the story basically. Like you
Yeah.
said, on the sideline watching.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that.
I like that. Um, I'm gonna put. I was just there's. I have a little tie here. One second. I was seeing that one in here. It is very lots of politics in it. There's
Mhm.
agents and all stuff in there, and people try to do stuff. Um, how did you write that stuff? It's very because what you wrote was very convincingly American.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, you weren't in politics yourself,
No.
or you weren't in agencies yourself, but it was very realistic.
Yes. Somebody asked me a question about how was I influenced, as a to become for my
Yeah,
writing style kind of. I am one of those authors that can be considered committed authors, if that makes sense, like people who talk about real stuff, things that are happening in our society. Because some of the writers that influenced me, a popular one from Cameroon, Mongo Betty, I was fascinated by him when I was growing up. I read so many of his books, and he just talked about Africa being colonized by France and Europe, how they don't want to let Africa go, things like that. And those are things that I live through the consequence of that kind of relationship. So for me, I find my stories in things that are happening in real life, in our daily life, in our society. So talking about politics per se, my sister, when she read my manuscript, she was like, are you sure about this? This is like dangerous stuff. I said, well, I'm trying to be, because she said I mentioned Hillary Clinton being the Secretary of State when something happened in Yemen. I'm like, I'm not making anything up, or I'm not accusing anybody. It's what I read in the news. So I'm just bringing those things up. Those are real stuff that I observed, that I experienced so yes, so somebody has to talk about it, and I'm happy to do that. And I try not to get too deep into it because, sometimes, you never know what can happen, but I try to brush it a little bit as much as I can.
You also put us through the ringer in this book, as we as Americans say,
Yeah.
with Kamau. This book could be a good series on some streaming network.
Ooh, knock on wood.
Out Hulu somewhere, I don't know, Peacock,
Knock on,
whatever. I can see it as like a mini series or something. I can see it. Limited series.
okay.
We speak it out, don't we?
There you go.
Yeah, speak it out. I always speak things out. No, but because I'm thinking because I'm an actor part time, so
Okay.
the role is meaty. The role of
Oh,
meaty, and
okay.
I don't want to give away. I want folks to read the book. I'm telling you, when you go through the whole trial, like there's a
Mhm.
trial,
Yes.
and there is a. I don't get okay. There is a decision,
Mhm.
and I remember I read this and I was like, what?
Mhm.
But this book, the book doesn't end there. So I just want to
Mhm.
say it that way.
Mhm.
But I want to tell you that I thought you could have ended it where you ended it at. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
You could say, okay, here's the decision. Bye. See you later.
Right.
But you did. And well, like, what? And I kept going. There's a little bit left in the book still. So I'm like, what? But I thought maybe some of the other stories where whatever. But you really have them go through the whole trial.
Yeah.
Was that as you were being immersed in the story? Did the story tell you that you had to kind of go through, put him through the trial?
Yes, yes. Yeah, when I got to that part, I was like, yeah, this guy has to suffer. He need to know, when the readers are reading about what's gonna happen, they need to feel
Oh
something. And
God,
yeah, yeah.
that's why
I
you
feel
laughed at me.
like
I did. I was like,
I think you
what?
felt something. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I did.
That was intentional. Yeah. And
I was puking the book. Black folks, we scream. I screamed at that. I said, what?
yeah. Well, James, it happened to some people. They never got out of it. Some people,
Oh, I know.
some people were killed.
Oh, I
Some
know.
people, I wouldn't say they were executed, or they were killed, like they were murdered for things that they didn't do.
Yep. Oh, we know that.
So,
We know that.
yeah,
Right. We know that. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I say I think I felt for it in so many different ways. Going, oh my god, because I'm like, you went there. You like went there. But
yeah,
folks, there is more to the story after that. So you have to read the rest of that, of course, at the end. But I'm just going to tell you, folks, you're gonna go through the book and be like, okay, blah blah, and you're gonna feel it. I mean, that it's a great part. Alam, it's a great part. It's a very.
thank you.
I said a good actor could really like have some
Yeah.
in that and that. Oh my God, is beat. Yes, there's all kind of stuff there.
A movie is playing in my head right now when you're talking, James.
See,
Thank
I
you for
told you. I'm a
yeah.
producer. I'm always like produce.
Awesome.
But no,
Yeah.
but it's one of those. I mean, again, Blind
Mhm.
Spot in America's name of the book, folks. And again, I'm telling you, there's so much in there for everybody that right now our climate,
Mhm.
our
Mhm.
government, anything about immigration, anything about black people, anything about white
Yeah.
people, anything about friendships,
Mhm.
relationships. There's a little bit of everything in this story,
Yeah.
So people, please. I mean, it's just so good. So at the end,
Mhm.
when did you know it was time to end the book? Because you can't
Wow,
get or whatever. Like, how do you know it's the end?
that was a tough one. Somebody who read the book said, this is not the end. There's a sequel coming, right? I said, I don't know.
Oh,
Because somebody told me they got a hint from when the attorney was telling Kamau that Lindsay was going to just spend a couple of years and be released, and then Kamau going to El Salvador and reuniting with Dania to bring her over, somebody was like, I don't feel like that ended there. Something is going to happen once Dania is here. I said, I don't know. So I don't
I
know.
said it. I said, I go. It could keep. You could have kept going. So I get.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is interesting, James. My book, the total word count right now is 88,000 something. It started with 104,000 word. So, it was cut down through the editing process, but there's more that could be added to it. But it's always good to end things at the good part, I guess, so people can, wait for or want more or something like that.
Could do another one or a spin-off or I mean it does lead itself to because a lot well one reason why I like the book, folks, and I'll tell you, of
Mhm,
course,
mhm,
is the well drawn out characters. I mean, there's like
mhm.
there's a lot of characters in this book.
Yeah.
You literally go here, there, even side characters like Agent Murdoch or the judges. Where there's a lot of people in this book, even the smaller ones that are throughout the book. They're strong also. So congratulations on that. They're strong.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So they're strong. There's a lot of characters. So because every book starts with a story or a character. That's not fun.
Mm,
So
that's
you
right.
could continue to. I don't know if you would name it, but I mean it's so like not blind spot in America or blind spot
Yeah.
in El Salvador. I mean how do you know
Yeah.
South America, Central America. Uh,
Yeah. I still have a
no.
lot of writing in me. We'll see.
Well, so here's the thing. So when you finish writing a book and
Mhm,
you turn it in, and you're like, okay, we're good to
mhm.
go. Do you have other books that you're working on, or do you take a break and go, I got to take a break now. This baby is gonna be birth. That's it.
Oh no. I'm working on three different stories right now, and I had a one full manuscript already, but I put that to the side because there was a story. That's the one I'm working on now was the first ever story that kind of came to mind 20 years ago back home in Africa when I started college. So that was my first full manuscript ever. But then I started it but never got far in it. So once I got Blindspot out of the way, I came back to it. And that's what I'm working on now. And I had someone look at it the other day and they were like, this book is going to be something else, like in a good way compared to Blindspot in America. I said, wow. He said yes, because of how things are coming, together with the plot and all of that. So we'll see.
Very good. Well, whatever book comes out next, you're welcome back on this show. I want to read it.
Thank you.
You're welcome back on the show because you're
Wow,
a good
appreciate
writer.
it.
Love it. I love the books. I love it.
Thank you.
Uh, Blind Spot in America. You get it
Mm,
on Amazon. You totally get it. If you do buy it on Amazon, please make sure you rate after you read it. Rate it. Even a few comments, a few words. Anything. It helps the
mhm.
book get more attention. And we want more attention to the book, so make sure you do that. Hey, Lum, if they want to follow you anywhere, do you have a website or anything?
Yeah, I have a website. My website is Elom Akoto, my first and my middle. So what I use for my book is my middle name, first initial period, and then last name. So people at work call me Kojo Akoto because Kojo is my first name, but I use my middle name first. So my website is elomakoto.com. And I have a lot of information there, and I'm also on Instagram and Facebook.
I gotta follow you on Instagram, Facebook. I gotta follow you.
Yeah,
I
thank
wish
you.
I'd do that. Tojo. I did not know. I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
you have 10 names. Got all these names. It's fine. Tojo,
Mhm.
Elam, but you're like, I'll answer to anything, right? I'll answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well,
I
thank
would
you so
like,
much.
with your permission, James, I would like to mention something. If you
Yeah.
notice in the story, there's a person who was murdered in a gas station, Peter.
Yeah.
I will say almost every character in the book is fictional except Peter.
Oh,
Peter was a real person. He was from Nepal, the guy who trained me when I started working at a gas station. And he was killed one night 5 miles away from me. He was the only person in the book that is real. That was not a fictional character. And I wanted to use my story to honor him, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned his name on your show. If you, I hope that you don't have a problem with that.
I don't know, not
Um,
at all. Not at all.
mm,
And you did honor him. So you did a great job. You did. That's good. So Peter, there you go.
yes.
I had no idea. So that's wow. That's actually makes sense. See, folks, now you have to really read the book. Come on,
Mm,
folks. It's like, I mean, seriously, like now we got some fact and fiction mixed together
that's
in a
right.
world where fact is stranger than fiction these days. We're gonna make it
Absolutely.
after all. We're gonna hang in there. We're gonna hang in there. We're in America. We're gonna hang in there.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, follow. I'll put all this stuff underneath, folks. You can follow him on Facebook and Instagram, and his website. I'll put it underneath there. And the book I says on Amazon. Go ahead and get it. Run. Well, you don't have to run. Just use your fingers. Get on your phone. Get it from Amazon. Amazon's on your phone. You know it's on your phone. Go get it. And also, as I always say, and this is Black History Month, but I say this for anything: reading is great. Books aren't going anywhere. Well, if we can help it, right? Books aren't going anywhere, and I want to support any author, any person who writes a story, if it's short story, if it's poetry, if it's music, whatever. Writers are the backbone of art. And even though we're going through some tough times, great art can be born sometimes out of tough times. So support art, support
Yep,
writers, support writing.
exactly.
Do that. So I'm James Lott Jr. I got books too on Amazon. You check those out too at James Lott Jr. We'll see you next time.